Hi everybody, Sarah here from smallbusinesssarah.com, and today I wanted to talk about the 1099K and the delay in the lower reporting threshold with the 1099K and how that affects you as an online e-commerce seller. Okay, so a little bit of background. The 1099K is a form that the IRS uses to have third-party payment processors such as Etsy, Amazon, PayPal, Venmo, things like that, report information to the IRS. It's an information return that when generated goes to both the person who received the money or the business owner, and also to the IRS. So for example, if you are selling on Etsy or Amazon and you had $50,000 in gross sales, you're going to get a 1099K, and then that same 1099K information is going to go to the IRS as well, and you need to make sure that your tax return and the information on the 1099K are jiving because the IRS is looking at that to make sure there's no unreported income. So in the past, the threshold for the 1099K generation by these third-party payment processors was $20,000 and 200 transactions. When Congress enacted the American Rescue Plan Act, they decided to lower the threshold to $600 in an attempt to close the gap between income earned and income that was unreported or underreported. This kind of caused a big stir, and so the IRS delayed implementation. It was supposed to take place, the lower threshold, in 2022. It got pushed back, and then once again in 2023, it got pushed back again. So now the new plan is that starting in 2024, the new 1099K reporting threshold is going to be $5,000 rather than $600. So they're kind of easing it in. But of course, that's lower than the historical $20,000 and 200 transactions. So as an Etsy seller, I received an email from Etsy at the end of 2023 saying, good news, we have advocated for you, and the 1099K $600 reporting threshold has been delayed. And for 2023, it's going to stay the same, $20,000 and 200 transactions. But what Etsy failed to mention in their email, and what I think is probably very confusing for many business owners, especially online business owners and e-commerce sellers, is that even though the reporting threshold is still at the $20,000 level, that actually does not change what you need to report to the IRS in regard to your small business income. So it has always been the policy of the IRS that they want you to report every dime that you make. So if you are an Etsy seller, an Amazon seller, and a host of other platforms and ways that you can be selling, PayPal, Shopify, Walmart, you name it, if you are making money as a hobby or as a business, the IRS requires you to report every single bit of income that you make to them at year end, regardless of whether you receive a 1099K or not. And that has always been the case. That has not changed. So your requirements as a business owner are exactly the same. And that was not communicated to you in that email from Etsy, which is unfortunate. Because what could happen is, let's say you made $10,000 in gross sales on Etsy in 2023. You do not receive a 1099K from Etsy, but let's say the IRS later chooses to do an audit of your tax return, or even your state could choose to do an audit of your tax return. And if they find that you actually made $10,000 gross selling on an online platform, there could be penalties and interest and fees involved for you not reporting that income to the IRS. So that is a very serious thing. And I want to make that very clear. All income needs to be reported to the IRS. Now, you can also report your expenses, your legitimate, ordinary, and necessary business expenses. You can report those as a deduction against your gross income. And then, of course, you only pay taxes on your net income. That is also still the same. I did find a quote on the IRS website that I wanted to read for you so that you know that it's not just me saying this, it's the IRS. So I found this on a 1099K fact sheet on the IRS website, and this is from the mouth of the IRS exactly what they have to say about this. It's important to note that the higher threshold does not affect the actual tax law to report income on your tax return. All income, no matter the amount, is taxable unless it's excluded by law, whether a 1099K is received or not. So it is crucial that you're reporting your income to the IRS, whether you receive a 1099K or not. So unfortunately, keeping this higher level threshold of the 1099K, it is good news for Etsy. They're having to send a whole lot fewer 1099Ks than they thought they were going to have to. Good news for PayPal, Amazon, Walmart, all of them, but it's the same news for you. Your requirements haven't changed. So I encourage you to do the right thing and report your income to the IRS. Now, this is where bookkeeping is so important because you don't want to pay more in taxes than you need to. And so tracking your income accurately and tracking your expenses that you are legitimately allowed to take and deduct against your income is really important. You only want to pay taxes on the net income that you're actually required to pay taxes on. No one wants to pay more taxes than they have to, but we all need to pay the taxes that we are supposed to. So in the links below, I'm going to have links to my Etsy seller spreadsheet and my Amazon seller spreadsheet, which are great, easy, low-cost options to get you started on your bookkeeping so that A, you know what to report to the IRS on your tax return at year end, and B, so you know whether you are profitable, you know how your business is doing or how your hobby is doing. Also, of course, my channel is full of other resources for how to do your bookkeeping for Amazon or Etsy or Shopify through QuickBooks Online, and I'll have links to those resources in the description as well. But the moral of the story is 1099K thresholds have been delayed, but you are still required to report all of your income to the IRS. And the song I'm always singing, bookkeeping is still super important, and I want to help you get your bookkeeping done quickly, easily, and accurately each month. Leave any questions or comments that you have for me in the description, and I hope you have a great day.